you need to be getting ready. You need to be getting prepared. FEMA has deployed hundreds of their personnel to this area of the country to prepare for a radiological disaster. That's what FEMA is preparing for right now, and they have hundreds of personnel in this area of the country. All right, so you need to be stocking up on things like iodine, nascent iodine, and also things like potassium iodide in case we see a radiological or a nuclear disaster. That's what FEMA is warning of right now, and they have personnel deployed, and they are getting prepared for a major event like this to happen near major cities. Major rivers, major lakes could all be contaminated by this radiological disaster that they are getting ready for. This also comes at the same time that FEMA is also getting ready to send out this emergency alert. All right, so these are two different stories, but they are coming together at the same time because they are both related to FEMA and what they're doing right now. But FEMA is also sending out a nationwide emergency alert text message on October 4th. So October 4th, they're going to test this nationwide emergency alert message from FEMA that pops up on your phone that you have to click on. You have to say okay to, or whatever they want you to do. You have to click on it. It's an emergency notification that pops up and is forced onto your phone by FEMA. And for some reason, they want to test this emergency system on October 4th. So get prepared to see that on your phone, October 4th. They want to test the system. At the same time, they're admitting that they're getting prepared for a major radiological disaster to happen as well that could affect millions of people. Multiple states they're worried about. They're worried about rivers, lakes, and major cities being affected by this nuclear fallout, essentially, that they're warning of. So this could be a big thing. They're warning that power plants could be taken over and have a forced meltdown of the power plants and the rods and the reactors. That's what they are worried about. That's what they're preparing for in multiple states right now. That's what FEMA is preparing for. So we need to be on the lookout. We need to be getting ready. We need to be getting stocked up. All right. I found this little apple tree here. Okay. I live off grid with my family and my RV. We are completely off grid, off generators and water tanks. All right. I have a 200-gallon water tank, but this is how we live. This is how we survive. We have propane tanks for our fridge, and we could also see the grid go down in this situation as well. All right. And I found this little apple tree here. All right. We're staying at this farm, and I just wanted to park in front of it and make this video. These little tiny apples. All right. Little tiny baby apples, but these could save your lives one day. This could save your life one day, just having this random apple tree. So find these areas that you could go to, find these little bastions of fruit in abundance. All right. There's also corn all around us. There's also cattle all around us. And there's these random apple trees all over the place. Okay. So you need to be getting prepared. You need to be surrounded by this. And fruit trees itself are such a critical component. If you have your homestead, if you have a location where you can stay, where you can grow food, you can plant food, all right, then you need to be planting fruit trees, because in a survival situation, there's thousands of these little apples just on this one tree right here, right outside of my window, thousands of apples. And if stuff goes down, that could save you one day. It could save you. My kids are eating these up. They love it. And things like that could save you one day. Just a random apple tree that you planted 3 years ago, right? And now it's super abundant. And this has had no care, no anything, no fertilizer, no watering, nothing like that. And it's able to produce a ton of apples. There's apple trees all over the place here, right? So get prepared, get planting, get your seeds stocked up, get your food stocked up, get your generators, get your iodine. They're warning of a power outage and a major radiological disaster to happen at the same exact time. That's what they're worried about. So let's get into the details here so you can be prepared. If you're in this area, it seems like they're targeting this area, and these are new drills that they haven't done. They normally just do drills for a like meltdown scenario, okay, where something goes wrong in the power plant itself, okay? It's all internal. But now they are preparing for a, quote, hostile action-based takeover. These are the words that they are using now. These are the words that FEMA are using, and the emergency management systems and these states are now using. They are running massive drills with hundreds of FEMA personnel at these nuclear power plants for a, quote, hostile action-based takeover. This is happening right now, and you need to be getting prepared. This is why I said that this video, you need to have iodine, nascent iodine or potassium iodide, so your body does not absorb radioactive isotopes. So let's dive into the details here. FEMA is now preparing at multiple power plants. So they just had a massive drill last week with hundreds of personnel deployed at Byron Nuclear Power Plant in Illinois. Byron Nuclear Power Plant. They just had a massive drill there on July 25th with 260 personnel. All right, so this was FEMA and local police coordinating a, quote, hostile action-based takeover situation of the Byron Power Plant, which is right outside of Chicago, Illinois. So they're preparing for, and they've never done a drill like this. They normally just do radiological events where it's like an accident. Oh, there's some kind of accident, some kind of internal meltdown. But now they are saying that this threat level has increased in these specific areas. So Illinois and Wisconsin, they're targeting right now, and they're running a massive drill right outside of Chicago. So this is a major power plant, Byron Power Plant, right outside of Chicago, and they're running a hostile action-based takeover drill where somebody or a group breaks into the nuclear power plant and gets control of it and causes a radiological disaster. That's what FEMA is preparing for right now. And this is a new drill. They normally do not prepare for a drill where somebody is taking over the power plant. So they're saying a group or an individual is going to physically try to take over these power plants and potentially cause them to have a meltdown situation or turn the power off, okay? So, or both, have the power go off and have a radiological disaster. So if you are in this area, you need to be stocked up on iodine. This power plant is also not far from the Mississippi River. They also are hosting another drill on August 15th at the Point Beach Nuclear Power Plant. This is in Wisconsin. This is right outside of Green Bay, and this is right on Lake Michigan, right? It's right over there. And they are hosting a massive drill there as well, the same type of drill, a hostile action-based takeover. And these power plants are only a few hours away from each other, all right? Only a few hours away. One's in Illinois, one's in Wisconsin, and they are saying that people could take over these plants and cause a radiological disaster and potentially have a meltdown situation where there could be fires or even explosions that release this radioactive material into the environment, into the air, into the lakes, into the Great Lakes. All right, this one, Point Beach, is right on the Great Lakes right there, and Byron Power Plant is also not too far from the Mississippi River. So they're anticipating a major disaster to happen in these areas and potentially infect the Mississippi River and the Great Lakes and Chicago, Green Bay, all these major cities up there in the Midwest. All right, so we need to be getting prepared. This is what FEMA is preparing for right now, and this is a new drill that they just came up with because they're saying that the threat level has increased. Apparently that's their theory, and they're saying groups are now going to physically target these power plants. All right, we talk about cyber attacks and things like that a lot, but we also could see physical attacks. Remember all these substations that were being shot at last year? Do you remember that? And really quick for me, guys, please hit it up for me down below to get this video out to more people. It really helps to get this video out because people need to be prepared. People need to know if they live in this area and anywhere, all right? Everyone should have nascent iodine, which is elemental iodine. Just type it in NaScent iodine into your search, and you should be able to find it and buy it anywhere. Nascent iodine, elemental iodine, that is what you want because that is what your body is going to most readily absorb. But if you guys remember, they had people shooting at all of these substations last year, and they were causing major power outages. One of them, there was over 40,000 people that lost their power last year in North Carolina from them shooting these substations. And they even had to bring out ballistics blankets and ballistic blocking items to protect the power plants. All right, so we could see these physical attacks escalate as well. We saw attacks on Christmas, all right, out in Tacoma, Washington. I remember I reported on this. People were doing this on Christmas and Christmas Eve. They were attacking. There was a group of people arrested for this, and I mapped it out on my video, all these different power plants that they are attacking, and it looked like they just hit them all within a night. All right, they went to 2 or 3 different power plant substations and they attacked them and destroyed the equipment just with hammers. All right, sledgehammers and things like that. They destroyed the equipment and caused tens of thousands of people to have power outages in Tacoma, Washington. This happened on Christmas. All right, not to mention the rolling blackouts that happened on Christmas as well in places like South Carolina and Tennessee and North Carolina. They were under rolling blackouts because the grid was being overwhelmed from these winter storms that they were having. All right, so that's just people using sledgehammers. Imagine if there was more coordination within these groups and they were able to take over these nuclear power plants. And these people attacking these other substations, it seemed like they had knowledge of where to attack because they kept attacking specific places and specific equipment to take out the substations and to cause major fires and catastrophic errors. So we could see a similar situation with the nuclear power plants. Somebody with knowledge of them, of how they work, and they could shut down certain parts of it to cause major fires or even explosions that expose people to this radioactive waste. So make sure you guys are getting prepared. Make sure you have an evacuation route. Make sure you have filters on your air. Try to get a HEPA filter that fits your air size, and get a carbon filter as well. You can get ones that are multi-layer HEPA and carbon filter, but try to have both. Okay, try to have both on your air system to really capture these particles in a situation like this, because they most likely aren't going to tell you to evacuate or leave. They're probably just going to tell you to stay inside and to close your windows and allow this radioactive material to pass. That's most likely what the government is going to tell us from history. All right, they're not just going to like evacuate us and just clean the whole area up. They're going to just say stay inside. So that actually might be a good idea if you do have these filters. Your best bet might be to stay inside. Your best bet might be to seal off your windows with plastic, with trash bags and tape or something along those lines. Seal off your windows even more if you can, to keep that air recirculated. You could probably live in the air in your house for at least a couple days without opening the door, and by that point a lot of the material in the air will be passed through. All right, another thing we have to think of is, like I said, how the rivers could be contaminated. The Mississippi River could be completely radiated. We also could see crops be radiated as well from this event. This is a major crop producing area. Illinois, Wisconsin, we see tons of corn, tons of beans, tons of hay, tons of staple crops coming out of this region. And if they are radiated, they could be deemed not safe for human consumption. So just another reason why you need to have more options. That's why I brought up this little apple here. all right? Even just this apple tree, if stuff went down, you had no food left, you ate through all your preps, all your rice is gone, all this stuff's gone, this apple tree could get you maybe through another week or two, all right? And then that could be the thing. You could meet someone, somebody could come along your way that could help you, all right? You could meet someone that you could barter with that has some farmland. You could finally meet this person that grows this corn over by you. You catch them harvesting it or something like that along these lines, and you can barter with them and get access to. So just having these things that could keep you going just a little bit longer really could save your life one day, all right? And these apples are sour. It's not like they taste great, but little things like that could save your life. Having a little garden, right? Having that extra 20-pound bags of rice, having a few stalks of corn growing, all right? Could save your life, could save your animal's life one day. So please hit it up for me down there to get this video out to more people. People need to be prepared. People need to know what's going on. And this stuff's big news. There's so much big news going on. I was reading that Wells Fargo is missing deposits. Ton of people are reporting that they're missing money out of their bank. They're missing recently deposited items. It was showing up as pending, and now it's just gone and there's nothing there. All right, this is happening all over the country, and these events, we have so many big dominoes that are on the edge of falling that it could be any one of them. It could be any one of them. It could be a major banking crisis. It could be a major grid collapse scenario. It could be an attack like this that we see, a hostile action-based takeover. That's what they are calling this. And even situations like that could lead to martial law scenarios, all right? We could see troops on the streets if we saw somebody take over a nuclear power plant and cause a radiological disaster. We could see troops on the street from that, all right? We could see a martial law scenario because everyone could be so freaked out, all right, from a situation like that, that the only solution to calm people down is to get the military out there, all right? Is to get troops on the streets. That's what we could see from this. So we need to be getting prepared. You need to get out of these big cities. You need to be growing your own food. You need to be stocked up on your own food. You need to be raising animals. Get chickens, all right? I still have chickens in my RV. They're not in my RV. I put them in the back of my truck to move them around, and I have them in this little tiny coop, this portable little coop that I can put on the grass and put in certain places, and I just move them around on the grass patch, right? So they can get fresh grass every day. But I live in my RV full-time, off-grid, and I still have chickens. And I move them around whenever we move to a different spot. I have a bug-out property where we can go to that's just a basic bug-out property, just like some land and some garden beds and things like that to get going on gardening and building a little homestead there. But I even have my chickens, all right? So there's no excuse, guys. If you have some, even if you just have a little backyard, I started off on 5,000 square feet growing food, all right, and having chickens there. And then I leveled up to 1.5 acres, and I was growing a bunch of food for farmers markets, okay? Doing local farmers markets and selling food online, doing online deliveries for people. That's what I was doing for a few years. And then all this stuff hit, all right? And our property got sold out from under us, all right? We were renting a property, and we went full-time in our RV, but I kept my chickens. I actually got a few more chickens since I was in my RV. So I know that sounds crazy, but there's no excuses, guys. There's no excuse to not grow your own food, to at least have a couple chickens. I had ducks. I had everything on 5,000 square feet of yard. That's all, front and back. I had ducks, I had chickens, I had a ton of stuff for my farmers markets. All right, duck eggs, chicken eggs, lettuce, tomatoes, all this good stuff for the people and for myself. All right, so there's no excuses. Get to growing, get going on it. And if your neighbors have a problem with it, just offer them some eggs. Just be like, hey, I got a half dozen eggs for you. I got a dozen eggs for you over here for these noisy chickens. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? You don't have to say all that, but you could bribe your neighbors a little bit there too if you're in an area, because I wasn't even allowed to have them there. So just get started now. Start growing food. Start figuring out where the food is. Tons of stuff like this all over the country. Just like random fruit trees, random stuff just growing everywhere. all right? Random little apples, apple trees, all over the place. Berries, blackberries. Florida, there was blackberries all over the place, and I would just eat the wild blackberries whenever I would go to parks in Florida, right? Down in southern Florida, blackberries all over the place, all right? So get stocked up now, guys. Get prepared now. Please hit it up for me down there. I really appreciate to get this video out to more people. Get stocked up on iodine, all right? You never know, and it's good for you. It helps your body filter out a lot of the bad heavy metals like fluoride as well. That's in the toothpaste, all right? Fluoride is in almost every toothpaste. It's a heavy metal that accumulates in your body, and it's honestly mildly poisonous, all right? That's why they say to not ingest it and to call poison control if you ingest too much. And iodine helps filter that out, helps clear it out, all of the heavy metals, and it's just natural for your body, for your thyroid gland to absorb iodine. So get stocked up on that, guys. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.